Yo guys, what is up? It's Worker here back again with another video. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different than normal, and that is doing a complete build for my twin brother. So if you guys are wondering what in particular I'm doing and why I'm making this video and what prompted to make it a video or whatever, generally when I give people gifts or whatever, I don't like making it into like a video thing or whatever, because then people always make assumptions that the only reason why I'm making the video is to show generosity or whatever through like video means or whatever, and I think it's kind of cringe. So normally speaking, I don't like doing this kind of thing, but I actually got a request to do a power supply review, and that's what this is going to be focused on. But it's kind of I'm getting two things done at once, so two birds with one stone or whatever. And I was actually really pleasantly surprised with this company, so I'll show you guys right now what I mean. So what we get is this ARESGAME V750. It's a 750 watt bronze modular power supply. And what's important to notice is this is a semi-modular. So what that means in simple terms is it's half modular here, so you can customize this on the power supply, and half of it is not. It's sent straight through the power supply. So normally speaking, I would always recommend to go fully modular if you can, but this is like a crazy good price for a 750 watt. And for anybody who is currently trying to get the new gen graphics cards from Nvidia or what will be AMD soon, you have tough questions to ask yourself. Do you have a power supply that can run these new GPUs? Because they are very power hungry. This is a good choice to make, especially for the price. Last time I checked, it was around $70 US for this. So to put it into perspective, there was a 650 watt that was a little bit higher on the rating, but it was over $100. And that's one that I would normally recommend to people that I'd be building computers for. Build a lot of computers for friends or whatever. I have a lot of fun with it. But I wanted to test this out, give it a meaningful review, and then also build a complete computer with this system, and then I'll let you guys know how it runs. So thank you, ARESGAME, for essentially sponsoring this power supply for this build. I greatly appreciate it. This is a little bit of a scuffed setup right now. I'm actually doing this on a ping pong table right now, but we've got our makeshift setup here to make a computer. And let's get right into the power supply review here. So what comes with the kit here is an AC power cord, cable ties, is 4 of them, the actual power supply, 4 screws to mount it on your case, modular cables, there's 4 of them, and then the user manual, which is what we have right here. Important thing to note off of the power supplies is 750 watts. That's good for almost all of the new graphics cards. The only thing that I'm unsure of is the 3090 Ti, which hasn't been released yet, and I don't know specifically if it's going to be released anytime very soon. But it seems as though it's enough for almost all of the other big boys. So if you're talking like 3080, you're talking like 3070, all that jazz, 750 should be sufficient in order to run all of that, which is very important because a lot of people are going to be upgrading power supplies pretty soon for this new thing if they can ever get one of the 3070s or 3080s or even 3060s. They're all seeming to be out of stock almost instantly. Bots, scalpers, and miners seem to be buying them out like crazy. So here's the cable ties and screws that it comes with. That's one of the 4 pieces. I'll lay it out right here. Hopefully you can still see it. So then here's the installation guide. Oh, okay, so this is an actual inspection tool to make sure that the power supply will actually function before you put it into the PC. So that's super interesting. It says it on this important notices thing here too, so if you guys are curious, once you receive it, you should receive this exact same warning here that says test the power supply before you put everything in. So the instructions go as follows: plug in the AC cable into the power supply. Step 2, connect the inspection tool with the 24-pin connector of the power supply. Turn on the power supply using the power button. If the fan begins to spin up, the power supply should be functioning correctly. So that's the easiest way to determine if your power supply is good or not before putting in all the cables, everything like that. So we can actually do that in this video too. I think that would be pretty useful to test out. Also to make sure that it would be functioning correctly, because that's really important. It'd be a huge waste of time to have the whole build set up and then figure out that the power supply is bricked. I personally have not had it happen, but I've heard a lot of issues with people with power supplies in general. So here are all the cables that it comes with. I'll lay them all out in a second, but for now I'll just set them to the side. Here's the power cable, goes directly from the wall or whatever outlet into the power supply. And last but definitely not least, we have wrapped in bubble the power supply itself. So as you can tell, this is what it means by semi-modular. So what you can see here is you have 4 ports coming out. You have 2, well, 1 HDD/SATA. Well, actually it's 2. It's 2 HDD/SATA. So you could use 1 for hard drives and SATA, 1 for hard drive SATA. Then you could also use the PCIe and CPU. So PCIe is for the graphics card. CPU is for sometimes a lot of motherboards, they have a second power port you have to put through to be able to put more power through the motherboard, and that's what you use it for. So it gives you 4 options there, and then on top of it you have all of the ones that are non-modular that are just tied directly to the power supply itself. So there is some customization, but it's limited to the 4, whereas a full modular, you would see this effect, but it would be for everything, including the 24-pin giant boy that goes into the motherboard itself. This is a good mix of customization versus just a more budget power supply, which is fine. I mean, this thing is crazy cheap in direct comparison to competitors. Like I said, I bought one for a friend recently that was over $100, and that was a 650 watt. This one's a 750 watt, and it's significantly cheaper. So you'd be able to run all of the new graphics cards on this. Where even a 650, yeah, you probably could get away with most, but 750 pretty much secures you the bag to be able to run almost any graphics card. Alright, this is definitely a little bit more scuffed than I would like it to be for setup, but hopefully you guys can still get the gist of it. So what we're showing you here is the connection piece for the 24-pin going into the motherboard. And then what this is this is the tester piece that they give you. This is the piece that you're going to test to make sure that the power supply is functioning and working correctly. So, plug it in. Might have it the wrong way. No, we're good. Make sure, yeah, that's good. So, it slides in. You'll hear a click, an audible click. That means that it's set in place. Then, all you need to do is turn on the power supply, because right now it's turned off. So you turn it on. And then, as you can see, the fans are definitely, most certainly spinning. So I can try to bring it a little bit closer so you can see fully here, but this is the test tool. We've got it plugged in here. And then the fans are definitely spinning, so I think we are good to continue. We're good to go. Alright, now I'm going to set the power supply to the side because we're good with that right now. We're going to focus on the other pieces and just start unboxing them, really, is what we're going to be doing. So the first thing that I got my brother for his gaming PC, obviously the awesome Ares 750 watt power supply. The next thing though that we're going to be showing off here is the Samsung 1TB 860 EVO. The question is right now is which knife do I open up all these boxes with? Do I open it up with the classic karambit, or do I open it up with the Gamma Doppler or whatever? The Cuts knife, the M9 bayonet. I'll show you guys what it looks like if you've never seen it. I'm sure the vast majority of the people who've watched me do tech reviews or unboxings or whatever have seen the Karambo. We have not seen the M9 bayonet here. M9 bayonet has got some solid weight to it. It's one of my favorite knives in CSGO especially. So this is a classic. So we got that, and then we've got the vanilla Karambo. The karambit, baby. So put your comments in. What do you think I should use here? 1 will be the karambit, actually. Number 1 will be the karambit. So type a 1 in the comments if you think I'm using the karambit. Type a 2 in the comments if you think I'm using the M9 bayonet. That'll be the little comment, easy question of the day here. The answer to this question, of course, in my eyes right now, we're going to be sticking with the classic. So if I could not stab the holster for this, put this in. This is going right back into the holder. And then we're going to be using the classic karambit. Got the karambit at the ready. OGs will know. This is what we use. This is my first tech unboxing review or anything remotely resembling an unboxing, I'm pretty sure, since the channel got hacked. So if you guys did enjoy the tech reviews and unboxings too, let me know down in the comments section so that way I know what to focus on, because I do like doing this stuff a lot, but I don't want it to ever seem like it's at a point where it's spammy. If it feels like it's spammy, I don't think I would really enjoy it as much. And if people didn't enjoy watching it either, I wouldn't enjoy that either. So right now, if you guys don't know how SSDs work, they're super freaking nice. Think of it like a giant USB stick for your computer, and you put your operating system, you put a couple games on it that you really like, and it runs super speed pretty much. The boot times to start your computer are like 1% of what they are on a standard HDD spinning disk hard drive. So just keep that in mind if you're ever thinking of building a gaming PC. Always get at least like a 500 gigabyte to 1 terabyte SSD to put the operating system on in a couple games. It's definitely worth it. Next thing we've got here is a hard drive. So this is what he's going to put the rest of his stuff on. So in this case, it's super simple box here. It's a Barracuda HDD. It doesn't have, might not have any cables with it, but let me double check to make sure. Yeah, it looks like it doesn't have anything. Luckily, I've got some SATA cables, otherwise I could have just screwed myself there for this video. But, I mean, Samsung SSD didn't come with any SATA cables either, because you need the power cables for it, and then you need the SATA cables. The SATA cables are the thing that actually drives the data from the hard drive to the motherboard or whatever to be able to get it working. So there we go. We got the Seagate 3 terabyte Barracuda is the other hard drive that we'll be rocking for this. So let's put that to the side. The next piece, this is actually a super old review I did. It no longer exists because after the hacking happened on my channel, but this is a Devro gaming keyboard that I'll be giving to my brother as well. It's a mechanical. I don't know exactly what switches it has on it. I don't remember, but it's standard keyboard, no numpad though, so we'll see if he ends up sticking with it, but still a pretty nice keyboard to have. The only thing that I don't have, surprisingly enough, is a mouse. He'll have to get his own mouse, or I might have one stashed away somewhere. Okay, this is the graphics card that I'm going to be opening up now. From what I'm remembering of what I bought, I think it's a 1660, which is a good graphics card to start with, let's put it that way. My brother's never had a gaming PC before, and I don't think he would be too keen on RTX. So then I thought to myself, I could either buy one of the new graphics cards and go full bot mode for 3 months trying to get one, or I could get a little bit of an older one, but it still has good VRAM on it. That's what I went with. In this case, we have ourselves the GeForce GTX 1660 Ti. So it's still a really solid graphics card. It's a 2-fanner, not too shabby at all. So just to get the specs on this too, let me see if I can find it. One of the most important things to me is VRAM, right? It's GDDR6 with Turing shaders. I guess there should be a book in here somewhere anyways, but regardless, before I get too distracted, here's the card itself. It's wrapped in a shit ton of stuff. Okay, sorry if it's a little ear rape, but here we have it. It's a pretty solid graphics card. And as always, make sure you remove protective film and make sure you remove the cover for the PCIe connection lane. I know it seems redundant and some people ask me why would I even say that, but you never know, dude. Some people can be very new at building or whatever, and if you don't remove it, it's not good. And obviously you won't be able to run it if you're trying to jam this piece into the PCIe, which is just a rubber connective protector. So take this off, and then that way you'd be able to safely put it into the PCIe connector. And then last but not least, we have the case. This is the Fantech P400. It's got a glass side, which is really cool for viewing all the specs. Really good for lighting and everything. One of the most satisfying things is to peel this off. And it always shows this too, but warning is tempered glass, so you're probably going to break it if you really mess with it too much. Most of my cases now have tempered glass sides. They're really, really pretty to look through and look at the specs and everything. So this case is actually pretty aesthetically pleasing. Here's the front of it. Seemingly, no, actually this is the back, isn't it? I can't actually even tell. Holy crap. No, I assume that this is the front. Looks very interesting on this front side, if this is truly the front side, or maybe there isn't a front side. No, this is definitely the front. It's so funny, I can't even tell. So this is the power button, 2 USBs, 2 headers for mic and for headset. And it's got a little bit of status symbols here too that I assume are LED light ups. There's also a magnetic dust cover too, so you can take that on and off as you please to clean it and to prevent dust from getting into your PC. So backside though, I'm still a little bit confused on. I know that it has some sort of cover system here or whatever, but you have to slide it all the way under. So it must be for like hot swapping like drives or something. So for now, it's got actually 3 fans on the top too. That's pretty nice to start out with. So we're gonna lay this on its side. You should do 1, 3, 2, 4 for how to remove the screws, but I already messed up initially. I'm gonna put these on the side here. Hopefully I don't forget about them. So I'm gonna remove the tempered glass cover here. You always have to be super careful with this. This is very fragile. So I can start putting in the guts of this computer. And to speak of guts, what I have to show you now is the actual motherboard with my old CPU attached to it. It looks as though we have some of the pieces here, and I'm not 100% sure if we have all of the pieces for this either, so I might have to grab a couple more. Oh my gosh, no, I completely butchered it. I understand it now what my fatal mistake was. This is the bottom. So this is the bottom right here. Man, I am cracked out of my mind. It was just so weird with the power button being right here and then the USBs being on the top like that. I'm used to it being this is where the power button is. This is where the USB headers are. So it was all confusing to me. This is the top with the dust cover or whatever. This is the front with the fans shooting out. And then now it all makes sense. I was like, it doesn't even line up correctly. And now you can see it as well. This is where the graphic card would connect to also. So you got the PCIe things that you can screw out in order to have outputs for it. And then power supply goes here. So now that we've got it actually figured out, I'll show you guys the setup we have here. So this is a slightly used, and by used I mean like probably a little bit less than a year I've used this. It's a EVGA for the Win K. It's an X99 board with a Intel 6 core on it. It's pretty decent, but the only thing about it that I wouldn't recommend now is Intel is it's not that they're bad, right? It's just AMD is so much better than them now when it comes to CPUs. It is actually insane. You can get so much better specs for cheaper with AMD now. I used to be a complete Intel fanboy, but that was when their cards were, like their chips were actually good. Now I would not say that they are good really at all. It's a crazy turn of events, and I'm happy that it can still happen like that, you know? We're not at a point where companies just stay the same always. It's also nice just to see some change every once in a while. So right now I'm lining up the screws, so that way we'd be able to have this in with no issues. Looks as though that's pretty dang close. This cover piece here, I think the only thing that I might be missing for this build, and I'll probably just put it on later, is the actual cover going into the motherboard here. So the outputs generally have this little cover for it. And I'm not sure if I remember where I put that, because it's been a bit since I've used that. So for now it's going to be raw dog open, but we'll probably end up moving it later. So what we're doing first is screwing in the motherboard to the case, so that way it's like stable and on there. I'm curious now though, there are two different types of screws I have. I assume that one of them is going to be too small or too big. I'll try the bigger one first just to see if it messes anything up here. I'm going to put it on the far corner. So it looks as though this already might be the one that's too big. Definitely looks like it's too big. So we're going to go to the smaller size screw. Looks like that's good to go. Just needed a little bit of help early on. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think that's it. So I have one screw extra. Well, even before we get too into this, I need to clean off this CPU right here because it's still got dried up thermal paste on it from last usage. So what I generally do for this is I get some very high percent isopropyl alcohol, and I put a little bit onto a Q-tip just to clean it off. Then I let it dry off. I should probably get a cooler, because the cooler has it on there too, if you can tell with this. The cooler definitely has some dried up thermal paste on it. The cooler that I'm using too, it's a Game Dios. It's a really good Game Dios all-in-one liquid cooler. So that's what we'll be using for that. I'll have the link to it as well on the description. So if you're curious about the specific parts, there'll always be a way to figure it out through the description. Alright, so I never thought I'd have a use for this, but this is a really ghetto thing that I got from a loot box, which if you buy loot boxes now, you're essentially just scamming yourself. let's be real, but it's a salt shaker that's a nuke, those fallout. I'm gonna put the isopropyl alcohol in here, and then I'll dip it. So hopefully I don't put too much on it. So I've got a bunch of these Q-tips that I'll be using for this, and I'll just be dipping it in the isopropyl alcohol, and then completely cleaning it off, letting it air dry, and then going right back to it, putting another layer of thermal paste on. You don't want to like overdo the isopropyl alcohol either. It's not something you should just dump onto it. It's just to clean off the thermal paste completely, or the thermal compound completely. You can see there, it's already starting to get a lot better. Almost done with it. I got a couple more I can use. And I have to do the same thing on the CPU also to make sure that that's cleaned off of all the dried up paste. I did a review on this liquid cooler, also this all-in-one. It was super good. I used it until I switched out to a Threadripper. Okay, so that's like, that should be good enough is what I see it as. It looks pretty freaking clean. So I'm gonna let it sit out for a little bit, let it dry off, and then we'll be putting it into the case after that. And I'll let this chill here for a second. And then the other piece that I need to clean off here too is the CPU. So we're gonna be doing the same thing to the CPU. We need to clean this thing off completely. This one's actually not as crusted on as the other, clearly. This one's coming off a lot easier. Okay, that should be good. So when this dries off completely, we'll do a couple other things while we wait. Then we'll be able to put the CPU on, put some more thermal paste on, and screw it into place, and then that part of it will be done. What we still have to do is figure out where we're going to put the hard drives, which looks like there's a bay in front of here. So once we unscrew this, or maybe it just pops out, we can work on that. Jesus. Yeah, it just pops out. So with a little bit of pressure, you can pull it out. So at least you can see the fans a little bit better here too, with this taken out. So I'm gonna lean this up to the side for now. There's not much point of it being here. So we're still gonna have to access some things. And it looks as though the bay for the hard drives and SSD are right here. So we're gonna have to unscrew that in a second too. Just go ahead and start doing that now. But I should also connect these power switch pins and everything, because this is the most tedious, annoying part in my eyes of a computer build, is getting it to where you can actually power the damn thing on. There's some motherboards that really simplify this, and to those people that do that, I love you, because my hands and fingers are too big to be doing this. It's the same reason why I try really hard not to work on laptops. It's because as tech gets smaller and smaller, my fingers can't deal with these little tiny single pin, double pin connectors. It's horrible. It's really not fun for me. Let's reset switch. Then we got power switch, HDD LED. HDD LED we'll put here. We missed it by a pin. This is the stuff that kills me. It's like so microscopic size. Okay, we got it in that time, and then we've also got power switch we gotta put in. So there's 3 of them. I think there still might be one more, but I'm gonna keep looking a little bit here. I might just have to take off this entire cover here, because this is gonna be a pain for me. It's gonna be a huge pain, and hopefully I can completely take it off. Oh, there we go. I think this is the one here. Yep, there we go. So there's the HD audio. USB 3 I might have to just like throw into a dumpster for now, because I'm gonna have to plug it in sideways, and it's gonna be a hard cable to snipe. Alright, so we're back now after charging up the GoPro and checking a couple things. It looks as though the hard drive bay is actually pretty easy to get out. You just have to take off the back side here. So this this piece that's in front of the case was the thing that was preventing us from being able to put in hard drives or SSDs. So you take it out, and then you have these 2 little bays here that you can take out and easily put in an SSD or an HDD. So the difference is, though, is if it's an SSD, you have to use one of these to bracket it to put into here, because otherwise the only thing that'll fit in is a hard drive, like a standard hard drive. But even if you can't do that directly, because it may look like there's a big enough gap to where you can't, you should just be able to slide in an SSD right here and then put the backplate on. So really then it's 2 hard drive spaces for this case, and then 2 SSD spaces for this case. Anything past that, I'm not necessarily 100% sure of, but at least it has 2 and 2. That's not bad at all. Looks like it has a lot of the power parts here, so it won't be too hard to mess with. The only thing is that I did unscrew one thing that I want to screw back in, but I'll do that as soon as I flip the case around. So what I should do first is probably put in SSD and HDD. So here's the HDD, and really easily put it on like so. I guess really with how this is facing, and because there's a back plate on the other side, we have to put it facing the way that it comes out, which might actually make it a little bit of a pain, but it's okay. Woo! Jeez. Alright, we should probably edit that one out. That went crazy. That went berserk. So what you gotta do to make sure that doesn't happen is you take these 2 clips out before you put it on, so that way it's not struggling like mine just was. So place it in now. So put it in nice and safe, make sure the holes are actually facing. So then you just slide it on, and now it'll do the screwing for you. So you don't have to really manually screw in anything. It's all through these little clips here. So that was my mistake earlier. So that goes in nice and easy. And then, so here's the SSD. And I'm gonna put that facing this way. So this one you're gonna actually have to use screws for, but it does come with, I think either way I'm gonna have to unscrew these though to get it off. So let's go ahead and do that now. Oh, so now I figured out the fatal mistake here, is that you could literally just take it out. Wow. Well, you live and you learn, dude. Every time I seem to fall for that. So what you have to do to get it out easily without taking out any screws, which is why this was tightened so freaking hard, is, yeah, I'll show you by just putting the screws back in. I don't think I've seen this done before specifically with these SD card mounts, but I'll show you. So you should never have to take off these screws, really. I was just giving myself a pain for the F of it, I guess. So you push it up and then the plate comes out easy. You should never have to take these off. It's just you use the little, put it into the big hole, then drag it down, and it slides right into place for the little. And the little means it's stable, it's intact. So now we've got this piece out easily. And then we will grab this and get 2 little screws. So inside this Fantech drive bay, it sat this accessory box. This accessory box has cable ties, and then it also has a bunch of screws too, including extra thumb screws too for your case, which is pretty nice. Oh, it actually comes with some extra screws for the motherboard too. Some of the screws that you screw into the motherboard, if that makes sense. So you screw it into the case, and then you rest the motherboard on top of it, and the screws go inside of that. That's good. And then with these facing this way, all you have to do is push it down until it's in the right spot with the big hole, and you slide it down, and then it's secure. So that's the Samsung right there. And then the only other piece we really have to attach in is the power supply. So power supply right here, which is the ARESGAME AGV 750 80 plus bronze. So we should be able to just slide this in. Okay, there we go. Got the power supply in. And really we're going to be wanting to start wiring through and starting to tie up things for cable management. So for the sake of this video showcasing the Ares, what I always try to do is find the ports of power and then try to find the easiest path to make the cable management the best. So in this case, for this specific giant beefer 24 pin, I bet you the best case is we go through either here or here. But let's try this one first, because I don't think there's really going to be that good of space anywhere else. Unless we go underneath, but I don't even know if it'll let us go underneath that nicely. So we'll start off with the center, pulling through the center here. Yeah, you know, even now just looking at it, I'm probably gonna have to go to the other one. So I think because of this case, I should be able to take out one of these pretty easily, the side, so I can get cables through. Let's unscrew this one right here. Then we're probably gonna have to put one at the bottom too, just to get cables like SATA to go to the motherboard here. So we got that now, which gives us a lot easier access. So we'll put this one through the top, which is a 24 power pin. And as you can see here, we're gonna put it right here. There we go. That snaps right into place. No problems there. Let's see what's the next thing that we're gonna do. This is CPU and CPU. So probably wire these through up here as well. Okay. That's good. And it looks like all we have to worry about past that is fan and SATA connectors. So I think we don't even have to connect any of these modular pieces yet. So that's decent at least. Actually, we're gonna have to connect one, now that I'm thinking of it. Make sure it's the right way. So right now I'm gonna be connecting power, SATA power in here to give power to the SSD and power to the hard drive. So that's power to that one. Make sure it's the right way. That's one. And the sad thing is the second one even reach, so I'm gonna have to just plug this in to give this one power. And then I'll give direct power to the SSD through another cable. Really, for future reference, including to myself, I'd always plug these in before I put in the power supply. Made a little bit of a mistake by not doing that, but shouldn't be the end of the world. Okay, there's one. And then we got that one done. The only other one we need is this, which is for the graphics card. There we go, perfect. Took a little bit longer than I'd want, but still, at least we got it. So then we're gonna be connecting this SATA to right here. So it's the SATA, and then the last piece here is for GPU, and I assume 8 will be enough. It should be. If not, I'm gonna have to plug in another cable, but it won't be the end of the world. So it looks like all we need to do now is put in the RAM, put in CPU cooler, put in GPU. Let's put in the CPU cooler first. So I've got some thermal compound. So hopefully you guys can see this a little well here. If not, I think it'll be okay. So we'll put one here, then 1, 2, 3, 4. It's kind of like a 5 on a die. I think that should be enough to where the surface area gets covered good. Depending on how big your CPU is, you can do different things, but you want it to be a pretty clean coat around it. So let's first rub this on to make sure that it'll be an even coat. Might need a little bit more paste for that because it's not completely covering it. So a little bit right there, a little bit right there. I think that should be plenty there. Okay, let's put this down. Start screwing those bad boys in. I can get it to stay now finally. You never want to tighten this too much because then it won't get really any cooling. It'll be like pushed up against it and it'll cause it to overheat. But it's really just kind of like figuring out the balance for it because you want it to be really solid on there, but you don't want much movement at all. Okay, so now what we need is a fan to connect to up here. Okay, no dust cover can go back on top of it because we're not going to put another fan on top. Perfect. Okay, so that's good. Got the CPU cooler, CPU on. Next thing, trying to decide which RAM I should use. I've got a lot of Corsair Dominator Platinums, but I've been having issues with them, so I'm not sure if I should really be putting this into it. So So I might do one, or I might just do a 16, like standard one that I know won't have issues, because he's not going to be doing anything that crazy anyways. So I might just do this Viper, like DDR4. It should just be a 16 gig one stick, I hope. So I'll try doing 4 sticks of platinum for the time being, but I might have to go back down to 1 just in case it runs into problems on BIOS. So these total out to 64 gigs RAM, where these two are just 8s. Okay, so these are the older ones. I'll put these ones in. Bring these all out. So that's 1, 3, 2, and then 4. Okay, cool. Technically I could run 2 more, but I don't really want to deal with the RAM being... It wouldn't fit right now with how the CPU cooler is, so I'm limited to just the 4 DIMM slots with this case dimension right now. So it's not the end of the world at all. 64 gigs RAM is already overkill, and I'm not even sure if he's going to be running that when it starts. So it looks as though PCIe 16, so that kind of sucks for this. So what we're going to put this on then is here, because this one's still a 16 by 8. So this is the one we're going to go for. It's not that hard, it's just taking off this bracket here, and then we're taking off the metal grill back. Get out the second piece, and now all we need to do is put in the GPU. GPU is a 1660 Ti. Pretty neat card. Okay, then boom, clicks into place. You guys want to see this? It's pretty much complete now. The only thing I'm missing is I have to put some SATA cables to connect the HDD and SSD to the motherboard, and I think I'm done after that actually. So not much time at all. I'll be done. So let's go ahead and do that now. I think these are the last 2 SATA cables that I have for data transfer, so I gotta make sure I don't screw these up. Otherwise I'm gonna have to go buy some more. But I'll probably buy some more anyways, so just make sure I have some cheap old SATA cables. Because they are, in general, a lot of them just break very easily. These have metal clips, so they're not bad, but just cheap by design, man. So I'm going to put this in the big spots here. Boom. There goes one. We're going to wire it through the back. Then we're going to... This is where it could become a problem. Yeah. So this could be a huge pain in the ass, but for now I'll plug this one into the HDD so that it doesn't break. And then we'll figure out what to do with the second one. Boom. And then back through. And this is the part where it'll be a little bit of a pain, but I could just put it right here. Hopefully it won't cause issues or break. That would be fantastic. There we go. That should be good. Now really all I'm gonna do is do some cable ties. Alright, I think that's it. Unless I'm forgetting something major. I don't think I am though. Sometimes it happens. So I've got RAM, CPU cooler, graphics card, HDD, SSD, we got fan connectors, but the only thing that I don't have necessarily is fan connector to motherboard, which was a little bit confusing to me, but I think it's all already set up. Alright guys, the computer is finally done. You're going to be hearing a lot of fan noises now. I've got both of my computers right here. This is the one that I built for my brother. It's going to be a little late, I guess now, Christmas present, but it's still a Christmas present, and I hope he enjoys it. So we got the ARESGAME PSU working just fine. Everything's working smoothly. Fans are spinning, and everything is good with the testing for it, so it's good to go. I think he'll have a lot of fun with this. Hopefully he won't just play League of Legends. That's my my one goal, is that he doesn't just play League of Legends and Among Us. You gotta play other games, Jeremy. That's all I'm saying. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Hope you have a good rest of your night, wherever you are, whatever time it is for you right now. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. All right.